pastor of Druid Hills Baptist Church. We're sitting in the sanctuary here. I have been adjunct professor at McAfee and chaplain or pastor to the seminary for a number of years. I've been full-time pastor here at the church for about 3.5 years now. We came on as co-pastors and did that for 3 years here, and then at that point, having been interim pastors for 3 years in a row, the church decided it's time to make a final decision, and then looking it over, we decided that I'd stay on as pastor. He would keep his focus on the ministry of the seminary.
And I'm Graham Walker. I'm professor of theology and philosophy at the McAfee School of Theology. I've been at the school for 15 years now. Came in 1999. I'm currently also serving as the president for the Asia Baptist Graduate Theological Seminary.
Well, I guess the challenge of being a woman in ministry is often getting your foot in the door. So actually working together has helped that out. Twice when we came in as, doing things as co-pastors sort of helps the church get comfortable with women. And hopefully that's something that carries on even when we've left another church and if we leave this, that for churches that they're in theory for women in ministry, but they've never done it, there's that comfort level in coming in as co-pastors, and then they realize, oh, women can do it just fine, and get that comfort level with it. So that's been, I think, one of the good things, actually.
It's also nice to have a little bit of separation now by which we can compare notes and talk about the different issues that we face in our ministries. And it was difficult for me, I will say, to step out of the picture here at the church, but it was very much something that has been a good thing.
One of the good things is that I have my focus, he has his, and we actually can manage to get a day off now and then and do something other than ministry, so that part of it's good.
It's been very good for us. One of the more painful experiences in my own life was sitting before a pastor when we were both called together as co-pastors of an interim church during our time before we went to seminary right after college. Having the pastor who was called upon to ordain us, just look straight at me and say, he does not ordain women, and that would not happen. And it really kind of hit me, the history of how women do the ministry, and yet how often they are ignored in that process. We've been in ministry long enough for 37 years to see the pendulum swing back and forth. So we've seen it go to a very affirming role of women in ministry and then to swing back the other way. We were to some degree surprised when we came back to the United States to find that the pendulum had swung back to a level of kind of a hierarchical view. So there have been very many women who I've seen in the work of the church who kind of have represented what that ministry has been, but who are just now once again being acknowledged for that.
It's interesting, when my, earliest role model, I grew up in the Presbyterian church, and our education minister had been a pastor's wife, and the pastor had run off with someone he was counseling, and rather than get me discouraged, she went through seminary and went into ministry. And so she was very helpful with me as a high school person who felt called to ministry, to get me involved with the deacons and the elders and what was really going on in the church, which normally youth don't get to do. But encouraging that in me and helping me to see what I was getting into, but showing me the ropes. And so she would have been my first and best role model for women in ministry. And I have sort of a strong pastoral identity. It's been important for me to get to know the families, to be visiting in the hospitals, to be with the people in the different aspects of their life. And that's been, as I say, what I love most about ministry, and I think what has also helped me get ingratiated with the people in the congregation and give a context to the preaching and the teaching part of ministry. I hope to be an example and be close to all of the seminaries. We get lots of women who are coming for their mentoring, coming even from Columbia and from Candler for their contextual education, and So I love having young women who are coming into ministry. We're not a big programmatic church, but if they're looking for an unusual type of church and one with a lot of freedom to do what you want to do, then we are a place that women can come and get that experience. Yeah. So I certainly enjoy being able to do that.
And part of what I do is still in the classroom, so I want women to look at the way in which their lives of ministry have been framed, some of those metaphors and perspectives that have shaped the way they see ministry, and also for the men to examine the way in which they see the women in the classroom, and how, to a large degree, their voice has been excluded. Just in the songs we sing, the prayers we say, and a variety of different ways in which we express ourselves as Christians today.